Welcome everyone on Instagram and YouTube. So good to be here today. We're talking about another nightmare, how to solve it like a pro. And today's nightmare is going to be about changes. Hi, Star Michael 7791. Thank you for joining. Today we're doing how to solve an event planning nightmare like a pro. And today's nightmare is changes in events. If you've ever been at an event and see weird things happening, police is coming in and out, ambulance, or some vendor didn't show up and you're just not sure what's going on, these tips are going to help you to manage that. And this is for those who are not event planners. So this is just free information just to support you along your journey. All right. My name is Melody Dixon, and I am the CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco-focused events. I plan events for people who are steeped in all things sustainability. So that means in their home, they're like managing water and food waste and energy waste. Like instead of having regular light bulbs, they have LED and they have water catchment systems, like people deep in sustainability. I also like when these people bring the sustainability from their home into their business and they manage paper waste and recycle and manage time wasting. And they take it into their events as well. That's how they reach out to me. When I do their events, I make sure that the plates and forks and everything are compostable. There's no wasting of energy. There's no food wasting. There's no single-use plastic containers. All of those things, that's what I do for my clients who are steeped. Now, I do the same things for those who are aware that they're wasting, but they're not sure where to start. So for those clients, I take their hands and I hold their hands as we make tiny eco-focused steps so that they can, over time, once they learn and incorporate different things, make a bigger positive impact on the environment. Now, what's sustainability? It's meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I like to explain it in layman's terms. If God is an expansive energy that created everything, but created everything intentionally. Like there are many different types of butterflies that only go to certain plants, and so many different types of mango trees, and so many foods that can benefit all areas of our life. Like if you look at coconut oil, you can put it in your hair, on your skin. You can use it to clean your teeth. You can drink the coconut water, eat the coconut jelly. When the jelly gets harder and more mature, you can grate it and make coconut milk. Squeeze some lime juice in the coconut milk and you separate the oil. Now you have coconut oil, you have the cream, and that's just a part. The shell of the coconut, you can use it to make containers. You can use it to make charcoal for grilling. You can use the fibrous part of it to make baskets. There's the leaves you can use to make baskets. God is so good and so intentional, but also expansive. So we, being a part of God, get that expansiveness. So in our spirit, we want to dance. We want to create music. We want to create recipes, invent things, start businesses. And in so doing, we get to be intentional with the resources that we have as well. We're not going to finish it so that nobody else has any. We want to make sure our kids have, our kids' kids, and people 10 generations deep. Now, there are 3 pillars to sustainability. The first one is the environment. We get to reduce, reuse, and recycle. I like to squeeze in a 4th in this area and upcycle. And I always reference this show that used to come on HGTV. It's called Flea Market Flip. They could get the oldest, most ugliest thing from mid-century modern to vintage things and transform it into sleek, modern, beautiful pieces of furniture instead of tossing it in the trash. The second pillar of sustainability is economics. If you're spending the money to be sustainable, let's say you're changing out all the light bulbs in your house to be LED, Yes, it's going to cost you, but over time, you'll see the benefits in the monies that you've saved, so that you're not wasting electricity and you're not wasting money over time. All right. The third one is social responsibility. We want to make sure that we make room for people who are different. We make sure that they have health care and food and a place to live and a way to earn a living to take care of their family. We take care of each other. We love each other like we love ourselves. So that's sustainability 101 in a nutshell. Today, we're talking about how to solve an event planning nightmare like a pro. And today's nightmare is changes at events. Events are dynamic and unpredictable. As someone who's been doing events since, oh gosh, over 30 years, from in hotels to when I start my own business, so many things can happen at events. You just have to be limber and flexible. So event planners, we are able to cope with the changes because we've been doing it so long and been through so many challenges that we have like a treasure chest of best practices that we can pull out as we need. So weird things happening at events, bad things happening, don't really scare us. We just know we need to get into different modes in order to solve it. And that comes from experience. Changes can occur due to various factors, such as the weather, something with the venue, something with the speakers, something with the attendees, the vendors, or the client preferences. So many things can happen. So event planners have to track and manage these changes and ensure that they do not affect the quality or the outcome of the event. I shared a story on one of these lives that I did a beach wedding in Miami. And towards the end of the event, I want to say like 11 o'clock, the wedding was supposed to be done at 12. 11 o'clock, the police came and shut down the whole thing because the music was too loud. And I had to be there kind of troubleshooting between the venue, the client, and the police. And I just had to be limber, you know? It is what it is. The good thing is with the experience, I was able to manage everything in an orderly manner so that the negative energy of the experience didn't spread to the whole guest. They were having a great time. And if it's just 1 hour before the wedding ended, they were already dancing, shoes off, belly full, some people tipsy. They had a great time regardless. Now, to prevent or to manage unpredictable things happening at events, I think I have 5 tips. Tip number 1, if you are planning your own event and you're having vendors and people supporting you with that, create a group chat so that you can communicate once and everyone in the group is able to see it. You're not going to have to hunt around. I need to talk to the DJ here. I need to talk to the caterer here, the cake person, the bounce house person, the rock climbing wall person. Everyone is just on one chat and we get to communicate. Number 2 is to create a contingency plan. And that just means, should this particular thing happen over here, I have this solution for it over here. I have done that with especially outdoor events because we're just at the mercy of the elements. Rain can suddenly start falling. What do? I have umbrellas, or I choose a venue that has a backup plan. So with the beach wedding, ceremony on the stand, and I make sure that should it rain, we have an inclement weather space. That means it's a place where we decide to move the actual ceremony to if we notice that rain is going to start falling at 3 o'clock. Ceremony was supposed to start at 3. So let's just move everything inside anyway so we can still be on schedule. I did a grand opening in Kissimmee for, I guess it's like a development company. And they created this new shopping center. It's called Kissimmee St. Cloud, the St. Cloud Shopping Center. And what I did was I made sure that we had EMT on site because it's just a big open grassy area. Florida, the sun is hot. I made sure there was a hydration station, there were snow cones, and also the EMT was on site. So should anyone fall over from a heat stroke, or if there was any pregnant person in the group, in the, I guess in the attendees that you may faint or feel faint or go into labor, right then and there, the EMT staff is there. So a contingency plan is primo. Number 3, communicate to the clients, team, and the vendors and attendee in that order. If something is happening at a corporate event, let's say one of the keynote speakers, the limo is on the way to the venue, got a flat tire, they're going to be late. The first person I go to is my client to say, your keynote is, this is what's happening. Would you like me to bump up the next speaker and then have the keynote join in once he or she arrives? Then I communicate to my team, be on the lookout for the limo, let me know the moment it gets here. And the vendors, my AV people, move the keynote person's speech to, 2 people down and bring that person up to the top so that, they have everything still flowing and they don't have to be hunting and pecking for that particular person's speech if it's on a teleprompter type situation. And if it's something that will affect the attendees, if they're not aware of what the itinerary is, then, they can know, but to know that the speaker is coming is just going to be later on. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Number 4, engage the stakeholders for feedback. If it's a situation where there is, let's see, what scenario would be good? Let's say the keynote speaker has decided to change their speech topic. Just let's say randomly, they were supposed to talk about a cup of lemon tea, and they decide to talk about scented candles instead. Let's just go with me on the scenario. They communicate to me, I run it by my client and say, is this okay? Are you okay with this person changing the focus of their speech and leaning towards candles versus lemon tea? And if they say yes, then I communicate it to the keynote, sure, go ahead. Or if they say no, we want to stay on topic, on brand, on message, then I go to the keynote and say, we agreed on the initial thing. I spoke with my client and they want you to stay on message. That's it. They get to speak on what they were hired to speak on. That's it. And the last one, number 5, we are going to evaluate the impact and effectiveness of the changes. If we see that the change we made is flowing seamlessly, nobody's even aware that there's any challenges in the background, things are going well. Star Michael 7791 says, exactly. Absolutely, Michael. Let me tell you, we get to stay on task with what we were hired for. But now also as a planner, I get to evaluate, did I make the right choice? And I stay fluid. So if I made a change and say, move speaker number 3 to now speaker number 1, because the keynote had a flat tire, if speaker number 3's speech isn't as riveting, I kind of scan down and look at the list and the topics of the different speakers and decide who's going to be next. Because what you don't want, every speaker has a different kind of energy. Some people are like, rah, rah, yeah, like a Tony Robbins kind of a person. Hi, Candy Hair Creations. Thank you for joining us. Today we're talking about how to solve an event planning nightmare like a pro. And today's nightmare is monitoring event changes. You just have to be limber and flexible. So with all the changes that we've made, as a planner, I get to evaluate, is this person and their delivery of the speech keeping the vibe of the event, because not everybody is like high energy and pumped and will get the crowd going like a Tony Robbins. Some people are like a Eckhart Tolle, if you're into spirituality and all that good stuff. His tone is very monotone, and he'll speak very slowly. Versus Tony, who's like, yeah, and escalate, and you know, yeah, not everybody's like that. So if you want to keep the energy of the crowd up, you can maybe move a more vibrant speaker to the first place until the keynote gets here. Or maybe you can alternate. So people aren't like rah rah the whole time, because that's exhausting. Or you could go rah rah, then calm, rah rah, then calm. So there's a balance with the delivery. And I only get that flexibility once I communicate to my client and say, this is what is happening. These are my ideas. I think we should move up speakers and just be flexible so that the energy of the event doesn't die. Because the last thing you want for your event to be is boring. Boring. So you want to keep it flexible like that. Now, as a company or a person doing your event, that's a lot for you to manage, or communicating with vendors and staff and attendees and all that. You just want to be the host of the event and just be, I guess, floating through and greeting and welcoming, more than managing the DJ and the caterer and all the things in between. So just to support you, I have my pro event package. This is a hire it done for you. We get to talk about your event, what you want to see, what you want it to feel like, what you want it to look like. When you walk in, do you want people to say, wow? Or do you want them to be, ooh, this is so classy, or this is fun and whimsical? Hey, Vanny, thanks for joining, beautiful. Today we're talking about how to solve an event planning nightmare like a pro. And today's a nightmare is monitoring changes at events. So it's a lot to manage. Keynote speaker getting a flat tire, somebody's speech not working, power going out, maybe water going away, storm just suddenly happening, so many different things. And as a planner, I have like a treasure trove of solutions for those challenges, because I've worked events that have had that happen. And so I know what to do should it happen again. And I build up this portfolio. I call them my best practices. So you hire an event planner so you don't have to deal with that. They have all the experience and the knowledge and the best practices to manage that. To get more information or to learn more about this pro event package, for Instagram, the link is in my bio. For YouTube, the link is in the description of this live. This is where you just tell me what you want for your event, and I go and make it happen. And I make sure that communication is great across myself and the vendors and you, my client. And if there's a contingency plan is in place, as always, I share that with you so that you're not caught off guard. I also communicate with my clients and the team and the vendors and the attendees if necessary, so that no one is surprised and everyone knows what's going on so that they can act accordingly. And I engage my clients in feedback. And I think number 5 was evaluate the impact. I make sure that I stay fluid. Even though I like checklists, I'm very organized, and my personality type is I am an analyzer. So I like spreadsheets and charts and graphs, and I like this first, this second, this third. But I also stay flexible, because life, there's always something happening. And if you are too rigid, then you miss out on the creativity, the possibilities of what can happen. So even though I'm an analyzer, I stay flexible. And that's why I make a great event planner, because I can plan things in order, but if something goes wrong, I'm always creating new solutions for that. All right. So learn more, click the link in the bio for Instagram, and YouTube is in the description of the live. It is done. And you got all the 5 tips. If you are, hey, Elizabeth, thank you for joining me, beautiful. We just finished, my love, but go ahead and watch the replay. Today's How to Solve an Event Planning Nightmare Like a Pro. We were talking about monitoring changes in events. All right. So I gave 5 great tips, 5 easy tips that you can use at your home if you're doing your own event, or I use for my clients if I'm doing an event for you or anybody here. I can support you on that completely. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. That is the end. I will be here tomorrow when I'll share another event planning nightmare, and I'll give you easy, actionable tips. Like, this is not something that only event planners get to know. You get to know it too, because some people are social butterflies. There's always a party going on, and these tips can really help you. And it's free information. So what's better than that? All right. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.